So I'm gonna let you guys choose what we talk about.
Hey, add me back in a little bit. I'm gonna call my pops.
That's straight. If you need any sort of info, let me know because again, this is Lee's life, so she can
All right,
help you out.
all right.
All right, brother. So I'm gonna let you guys pick the topic. I'm probably gonna fucking walk outside and see what this guy's doing. But I'm going to let y'all pick the topic of what we talk about today. But before we do that, I do want to hit on that whole anesthesia shit that was in the chat. As Darius said in the chat as well, I've been calling it for a while that was going to happen. It was imminent. Like there's so many risks to that, and your body's going through so much stress while being under. It was going to happen eventually that someone ended up losing their life. It's sad that that's how it went. It's sad because it seems like he had a lot to live for, but he did have underlying cardiac issues, which eventually caused him to pass. But that being said, with all the anesthesia shit going around, it's still very new technology. That's why I've been urging a lot of people not to do it. Um, it's risky, but anything that's new is going to end up being risky. So if you guys do end up being in a situation where you do have the opportunity to go with anesthesia, I would say just do as much research as possible to learn about it because I had the opportunity. I did my research and it just wasn't worth the risk for me. I had Sauce lined up. He's a DB for the Jets. I had him lined up to do an anesthesia police, and I decided to not go for it. We both went separate ways. He got his done, but the risk was just too high. So it's tough with this new technology, especially running anesthesia when something like that is so fucking serious. Like the schooling for anesthesia to become an anesthesiologist is fucking insane. So it's bound to happen, which fucking sucks. But that's that. Um, yeah, and then whatever you guys got for me, I'm gonna run that. But I'm going to also cut the meeting promptly at 1 because I have meetings with all you guys afterwards, all of today. So 1 o'clock is where I'm gonna have to end it pretty short. But yeah, I'm here to answer whatever y'all got. Alex looks like he's thinking.
I am. I don't know what to talk about.
You're trying to figure it out. I see
Yeah.
type shit.
Hey Steven, so I was discussing with my girlfriend like how I like methodically break down like everything like in microspec, and she was like, I don't know how it is over there for New York, bro, but is it possible to have like a tattoo slash like nail salon in the same building, or is there like some of the chemicals not allowed, and like is that possible?
So with New York, you can merge really any businesses. There just has to be a fiscal divider. So for me, if I wanted to do if I wanted to do hairdressing and tattooing, because a lot of people do that, I could do I could do a full tattoo studio in this room as long as that has a door on it, you're good. It just has to be separate. That's the only thing when it comes to legality in New York. It just has to be separated physically by a wall or a door or something, because in the terms of a hair salon, if the hair gets into the room that is tattooing, it is deemed unsanitary. You're not good to tattoo.
Mm-hmm.
In the sense of nails, I'm assuming you just need to have a good like an air filter system, which I've seen a lot of that technology recently. As long as you have something that's actually filtering shit out consistently on, I think it would be fine. I would have to take a look into Texas and see kind of what that's about. But I know with New York, it's as simple as just putting a wall up. Yeah.
Just out of
Motherfuckers.
curiosity, what do you think about? So obviously anesthesia is not good, but I've seen some people recently, and I don't know if they're injecting lidocaine
Yeah.
or what they're using, but what do you think about that?
Yeah, the actual like injectable anesthetic, that is way less risky. I'd have to look into it. I haven't done a shit ton of research about that yet, just because I think I saw it for the first time like 2 days or 3 days ago, maybe, if not a week ago, but that is very fresh in my mind. I've seen people doing that for like neck pieces specifically, or like hand pieces. I've seen them inject. Um, the only risk I see with that is having someone who's not a trained professional inject the actual anesthesia, like people just getting a little bit reckless. But other than that, I'm not too educated on the exact risks of that, which I'm gonna look it up now because now I'm pretty fucking curious because I don't even know what it's called. Um, I'm gonna check it out now. But that is way less risky than actual just general anesthesia.
That's what I thought, because like you're not like unconscious, like like you're awake the whole time. You just can't feel anything. So
Yeah. Yeah, it's way better. Like topical anesthetics or injectable anesthetics, because lidocaine is a topical where well, it is, but it isn't. Like there is creams with lidocaine in it, which obviously that's what the numbing cream we have is for. And then there is kind of topical anesthetics like Bactine. Bactine doesn't work unless the lidocaine actually gets in the skin. So you need to have an open wound in order for that to work and numb to begin with. So it could be a form of lidocaine, but local anesthetics and general anesthetics, local anesthetics used to treat pain, while general anesthetics are used to induce a state of anesthesia. Okay, so it's just a local anesthetic. So they're using like local anesthetics, which can be lidocaine. I don't know how to say that. I don't know how to say that. Articaine, prilocaine, which I'm assuming is lidocaine because that's the most commonly used. Let me find out. Local, looking up the risks now. Proficient twitching. There's a higher risk of infection. There's risk of injuring the blood vessels or the muscles around it if it's not done properly. If you put too much, essentially it's poison. Okay, so this would probably be the most extreme. You can have an allergic reaction, which can essentially lead to death if it's that extreme of an allergic reaction, but that goes with anything. Like if I eat a fucking apple, I could fucking die. It's the same shit, right? So with this, it says systematic toxicity. You might experience local or systematic toxicity, which could lead to seizures, cardiac arrest, hypotension, arrhythmias, or death. So that seems like that would be the biggest risk when using those kind of anesthetics. Injuring an artery or a vein, if it's not inserted properly, infection is a little bit heightened, redness, pain, all of the above, but nothing, death or anything that can lead to death is very, very slim when it comes to local anesthetics, it looks like. The only thing would be that systematic toxicity, which is interesting. I'm going to look more into that too, because I do want to understand that more. But it says essentially common effects with local anesthetics: dizziness, headaches, blurred vision, twitching or muscle shivering, continuing numbness for too long. That's another thing. You could kill the nerves to where you're just numb, period, which that would fucking suck. I've had that happen. This pinky, I cut and severed a bunch of the nerves, and the numbing agent they used actually caused it to be numb for 2 to 3 years after that because the nerve damages were fine. I got it checked on and the nerves were repairing just fine, so I should have been feeling it. Even now, it's still very numb. Like I think if I cut myself above this, I'd be good. But if you use too much of a numbing agent, it's possible the nerves can't repair themselves. That's it. Yeah,
Have
that's it.
have you personally used numbing spray?
Yeah, I've used numbing. What kind of numbing spray? Like pure lidocaine spray, like a 15 to a 30%, or are
I
you talking?
guess I've just seen them advertised quite a bit, and it's like you could like spray it on in the middle of a tattoo, and it would numb it almost immediately, and then it
I
would.
always use Vaseline.
Yeah, I use Bactine. I use those. Vasecaine, lidocaine, and Bactine are the three that spray, like a topical spray, I've seen the most results with. Lidocaine is the exact ingredient in Bactine. That's why I use that. It's also a antiseptic, so it cleans. Um, It works. The only thing I would say, if you're going to spray it mid-tattoo, make sure you don't have any stencil on it because any sort of spray like that will strip the stencil right off the skin. So if you're still working on a stencil, don't spray that Bactine or the lidocaine or the Vasecaine on the stencil itself because when you wipe, that stencil will fucking disappear. That's
Yeah,
the
especially if
biggest.
that was fine line.
Yeah, yeah, it's fucking trash, which is why I try not to use it until I'm done with the session. And another thing, if you use, again, this goes back to back with using it too much. If you spray the lidocaine, the Vasecaine, or the Bactine too much on the tattoo because of discomfort, you can actually have a chemical reaction and burn the skin, which would, in effect, damage the nerves and it won't heal properly. So
I usually lie to them and I say, "Oh, you got to have the skin open a little bit in order for it to actually soak in and take effect. So we're gonna have to at least get through the outline, dog."
And the funny thing to that is that's the truth. If you just spray it on the top of the skin, it's not going to work.
Right. There we go.
The lie is actually true. So you see the scarring here and here? All of this, she sprayed a lot of Bactine on. The whole tattoo healed fine. Just the spots where she sprayed a shit ton in ended up actually scarring and pulling the ink right out.
Yeah.
So that's an example of that's an example of using too much of that shit. So I would just be careful with that if you do end up going down that path. But I would say the safest bet is numbing cream. Using the numbing cream beforehand, as long as it doesn't affect the elasticity of the skin, you're chilling. But the sprays work. The skin just has to be open for it to actually accept it.